All right. Good afternoon. Welcome everybody to the Southern Justice Summit. My name is Dominique Winfrey. I'm Special Assistant to Mayor Lee Harris.
And I'm Jerry Green, Policy Advisor to Mayor Lee Harris, an Assistant County Attorney. And we're going to be your co-host and your guides today to this award ceremony.
Yes. So just to tell you a little bit of what to expect for the day, we're going to have four awardees given on today. We'll also have a special guest performance from hip hop artist YelloPain, and we'll also hear from our keynote speaker, the renowned attorney Benjamin Crump. So we'll have two of the awardees at the top, then we'll have our performance and our keynote speaker, and then we'll have the two more awards following that. So with that, I will turn it over to Jerry Green.
Thank you, Dominique. And thank you, everybody, for joining us. And thank you for all of our partners, the Urban League and the Memphis chapter of the NAACP and the Democratic Women of Shelby County. We are so grateful for all the partnerships that have made this possible. And of course, thank you to all our awardees that you will learn more about later today. But to kick things off, I want to introduce you to my boss. Mayor Lee Harris is a fifth-generation Memphian, father, educator, a lawyer, and a proud product of Memphis Public Schools. After graduating from Overton High School, the mayor earned degrees from Morehouse College and later Yale Law School. Before becoming mayor, he served on the Memphis City Council and in the Tennessee State Senate. In his prior roles and in his current role, he has remained a champion of new laws to reform the criminal justice system, working on justice initiatives like Ban the Box and limits on the transfer of military equipment to local law enforcement agencies. And we are excited to have him here to kick off our second annual Southern Justice Award ceremony. Mayor, to you.
Well, thanks very much, Jerry, and thanks, Dominique, and welcome to all of our virtual attendees. This is our second annual Southern Justice convening. Last year, we had a robust conversation around innovations in public safety and criminal justice programming occurring around the country. This year, we recognize some of the leaders of those efforts around the South. These are people who have been leading and innovating. So thanks to our partners, particularly our keynote speaker and partner, the super lawyer, Ben Crump, whom you'll hear from in just a few minutes. Thanks to the Shelby County Commission, which has been a partner in everything that we do, and to this year's speaker from the County Commission, Commissioner Van Turner. Congratulations to all of the award recipients. Each one of these individuals has been in the trenches, working to make our community safer and more just. Each one of these individuals understands that we can do both. Senator Akbari has been leading the charge on innovations in criminal justice and public safety in Nashville, particularly on approaches to youth rehabilitation. Mike Scholl and Vanessa Potkin have been leading legal teams that do amazing defense and advocacy work on behalf of clients facing really long odds and some of our toughest cases. Clerk Heidi Kuhn, who I was elected with in 2018, has been making all of us safer by focusing on the various ways to expand expungement access, because Heidi understands the importance of reentry programming and getting ex-offenders ready for jobs. This is going to be an hour or so of awards, but we hope that it's really an opening for each of us to reflect. We need to reflect on what we can all be doing better, particularly now in this place, in Memphis and in Shelby County. Shelby County is comprised of 7 great municipalities: Arlington, Bartlett, Collierville, Millington, Lakeland, Germantown, and our county seat, the city of Memphis. Shelby County is the largest county in our state, and it is, in my opinion, the greatest county in our state. This has been a time unlike any other. Of course, we have faced a global health pandemic, and we are trying to adjust to the new normal, a new way of connecting, and a new way of convening. This is also a time that there has been real strain on family and on community in terms of safety. We've seen this manifested in terms of the crime and injustice all around us, whether you're talking about George Floyd or Adolph Thornton Jr., AKA Young Dolph. Both Black men were murdered on the street in broad daylight. Anytime a person can be murdered on a street in this country, almost nothing else matters. People of color, particularly African American men and boys here and around the country, are in crisis. Unfortunately, it's not new, and it's not just in Memphis and Shelby County. In Tennessee, our state prison population is made up of 44% African American, even though the total population in terms of African Americans is about 17%. In our county jail for years, our jail population is about 80% African American, even though our total population is about 52% African American. In our juvenile detention facility, African American kids are basically the only demographic represented. So let's reflect on this state of affairs, and then let's leave this convening and make plans. Let's assign work and let's take action. Many of you are to and fro, and I may not be able to technically welcome you to Memphis and Shelby County, but I welcome you nonetheless to our space. I welcome you to our South. I welcome you to discuss and to agitate for both justice and public safety. I welcome you to the Southern Justice Awards.
Thank you, Mayor. We appreciate your inspiring words as we start today. Now, before we hear from our keynote speaker and enjoy some entertainment from our guest performer, we do want to begin this program by recognizing a few of our awardees. We're excited to bring together criminal justice leaders from across the South and highlight their innovative approaches to public safety. So sit back and relax and get ready to learn a little as we honor leaders for their transformative work in the criminal justice field. First up, Vanessa Potkin of the Innocence Project.
The 2021 Southern Justice Summit Defender of the Year Award goes to attorney Vanessa Potkin for her work with the Innocence Project. The Innocence Project's mission is to free the staggering number of innocent people who remain incarcerated and to bring reform to the system responsible for their unjust imprisonment. Attorney Potkin became the organization's first staff attorney in 2000. Attorney Potkin has also helped pioneer the model of post-conviction DNA litigation and has represented and exonerated more than 30 innocent individuals from Louisiana to Montana. Among her current clients is Shelby County native Purvis Payne, who is facing the death penalty. Mr. Payne has maintained his innocence for 33 years and is still currently incarcerated. Attorney Vanessa Potkin's diligence in being the last line of defense for many individuals is to be applauded. Defender of the Year, Attorney Vanessa Potkin.
And now I am so pleased, the day after we have learned that Purvis Payne's sentence has been commuted to a life sentence, to introduce to you Vanessa Potkin and have some remarks.
Thank you so much, Jerry, and thank you to Mayor Lee Harris for the honor and privilege of receiving this award. I had initially a few remarks planned, and then yesterday was such a historic day that I wanted to just, take a minute to reflect on what occurred. There were three pretty monumental events that the Innocence Project was involved with that I think are so reflective of where the criminal legal system is now and where we have yet to go. Yesterday, two men, Muhammad Aziz and the late Khalil Islam, who were wrongfully convicted of the assassination of Malcolm X, were finally exonerated after proclaiming their innocence for 56 years. And this was a miscarriage of justice in plain sight for decades. Historians, journalists, activists, who looked into the case all came to the conclusion that they were innocent, and other individuals that were known to the government had evaded justice all of these years. And in that case, it really was an open secret. This was information had been out there. So much had been developed in the decades to come. But what was accepted as a common truth was just not recognized by the courts. And it took a prosecutor's office the Manhattan District Attorney's Office that was unafraid to look for and acknowledge the misconduct and to engage in a true joint reinvestigation with us, that uncovered additional evidence that had been withheld by the New York Police Department and the FBI that pointed to their innocence and really pointed to the identity of other individuals that the government had that, as soon as the day of the assassination itself, raising many larger questions about their complicity or involvement in the assassination. But it, really shows the partnership and the difference that a district attorney's office makes, which is, quite frankly, a problem that we've encountered in Shelby County in trying to access DNA testing and access evidence and justice for people who have been wrongfully convicted. Yesterday, also, in addition to this exoneration, Julius Jones in Oklahoma came within hours of being executed for a crime he didn't commit. He had been served his last meal. He saw his mother for the last time through plexiglass, and his pastor, described how when he cried, he was unable to wipe his own tears because his hands were shackled to his feet with chains. And there was overwhelming evidence in Julius's case of his innocence, and the Board of Pardons and Paroles had twice voted for him for his sentence to be commuted. And it wasn't until literally within hours of his scheduled execution that the governor acted to commute the sentence. Julius's case garnered national attention, in part through a project that I was part of called The Last Defense, which was a docuseries that looked at the cases of potentially innocent people on death row following a National Institute of Justice study that showed that 4.1% of people are estimated to be innocent who are facing execution. And when you look at how many people are on death row at any given time in the United States, that's around 110 people are awaiting execution for crimes that they're completely innocent of. And another one of those individuals is Purvis Payne. And of course, yesterday we, heard this incredible news that the district attorney here was withdrawing her opposition to his resentencing motion and was withdrawing the death sentence. This came after the Innocence Project initially became involved to help get DNA testing in Purvis's case, and we joined Kelly Henry and his team of lawyers to try to get DNA testing. But DNA is only able to resolve so few cases. It's just not a panacea to wrongful convictions. And at that point, there was just no way for him to get back into court to litigate his intellectual disability claim, because of course in our country the Supreme Court has said that it is unconstitutional to execute anyone who is intellectually disabled. And despite this clear ruling, Purvis Payne, who lives with an intellectual disability, was still on death row, but he couldn't get back into court because there was no mechanism. And it took the heroic efforts of G.A. Hardaway here, Latrina Ingram, Kimkia Harris to really and just this outpouring of community support among so many leaders and members of the community in Shelby County to get legislation passed so that he could get back into court, which paved the way for yesterday's decision. So these are all just such a historic day to have these three things happen at once. And it was there was so much to celebrate, but at the same time, in thinking of, Malcolm X's assassination and the issues that he was speaking about are just as prevalent in the criminal legal system today. And Julius Jones and Purvis Payne's lives have been spared, right? They're not going to be executed for crimes they didn't commit, but at the same time, they are still facing potentially life in prison. And so while we have achieved so much, as a community, all of these cases have been efforts where there may be one lawyer like myself who's a part of it, but it's only a part of just a huge team to get any of these things done. And we have a lot more work to do to make sure that, Julius Jones and Purvis Payne and other people like them are free from wrongful imprisonment. And so, I could go on, but I know there's a tremendous program today. So with that, I just want to again thank Mayor Lee Harris for this award. It's a true honor. Shelby County occupies an important place with the Innocence Project. Years ago, we came down first and worked on the case of a man named Clerk McMillan, who spent decades in prison for a crime that he didn't commit. And Kelly Henry keeps inviting us back and pulling us into other cases, but we appreciate the ability to come down and to be part of doing justice here.
Well, thank you. Thank you for your courageous work and for taking time to speak to us today and educate us about what's happening around the nation in your work. And we are glad to give you this award and hope to continue to support your efforts. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And next up, our second awardee, my friend and State Senator Raumesh Akbari.
The 2021 Southern Justice Summit Champion of the Year Award goes to Senator Raumesh Akbari for her work championing criminal justice reform at the state level. In 2017, Senator Akbari first introduced legislation to ban lifetime prison sentences for minors. Despite obstacles from opponents, Senator Akbari has never given up on this important initiative and others. In 2019, she successfully advocated for the clemency of Cyntoia Brown, a child who was trafficked and ended up in the system. Akbari has also advocated for cash bail reform, eliminating mandatory minimum sentences, and progressive sentencing laws. Senator Raumesh Akbari, a Memphis native, continues to be a voice against injustices and inequalities in our criminal justice system and is to be commended. Champion of the Year, Senator Raumesh Akbari.
And now I will turn it over to the senator herself to give some remarks.
Thank you so much, Jerry, and thank you so much, Mayor Harris, for this award. It is an uphill battle sometimes when we talk about criminal justice reform. Sometimes it feels like we take one step forward and two steps backward, but the work continues. We have good news like the Purvis Payne situation. We know a few years ago, Cyntoia Brown was granted clemency. We've been able to completely remove the fee for expungement for those who wish to clear their record. But there is work left to do. We have juvenile justice issues we must tackle so that there are no other juveniles put in a situation like Cyntoia. We need to expand the list of offenses that are eligible for expunction. There are too many nonviolent crimes that are still haunting people for the rest of their lives. And we certainly have to tackle our drug laws in a meaningful way. So the work continues. I am so honored to represent Memphis and Shelby County in the General Assembly, and just know that we will continue to fight for meaningful criminal justice reform on a state level, and of course, continue to support the efforts on a federal level. I know that many of you all are seeing the verdict that was just released probably about 5 minutes ago. It's certainly disappointing. I think that we must continue to be steadfast and understand that until our laws change and our system changes, then people will get away with the types of crimes that Kyle got away with. But I am still encouraged because I know that working together we can make a change. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Senator Akbari. We truly appreciate your work. We know it's not easy, and it takes leaders like you all on the front lines doing it every day. And so we're going to continue to move forward with our awards ceremony. And so next we have a special presentation from hip hop artist YelloPain. And so he'll be performing his hit record, My Vote Don't Count. Often we may not think about how voting can impact our criminal justice system, but it does. local judges, district attorneys, state and federal legislators all can have an impact, and a positive impact at that, if the right person is voted into office. So I personally appreciate this song because it reminds me of my personal responsibility to be intentional about my vote as I seek change in the criminal justice system and the like. So without further ado, we'll see a special performance from YelloPain, My Vote Don't Count.
Yellow! What's going on? We live at the 2021 Southern Justice Summit. Hey, listen, we live in a world where the presidential election is extremely popularized, and we got to make sure, for the sake of justice reform, that we focus on all levels of the government. Let me explain why.
More than 270, more than enough to become the 44th President of the United States. He will be the first African-American President of the United States.
I've been broke all my life, but I kept hope all them nights. You see business in my city, yeah, they closed all them twice. I was just riding down Salem, all them damn potholes I can't drive. I know y'all can fix it faster, but I know y'all won't try. Don't nobody care about us, and that's why I don't vote. Voted for Obama back in 2012. I remember that's when I had hope. He was saying, yes, we can. And everybody got less food stamps. And when I turned 21, I was still broke. I'd never vote again. I don't think I ever had a president make my life better. Did it all on my own. Ain't no politician ever do a nice gesture. I don't even know the mayor's name. I ain't never seen her one time ever. Tell me how she gonna help the city. What I'm supposed to do, write letters. What I'm supposed to do, blame Trump. He ain't never really gave a Ain't nobody raised minimum wage. None of these jobs pay enough. I think they just want to keep us broke, cause they ain't put nothing in place for us. This how all my people feel, but we gotta learn we complain enough. Let me change it up. Everything I just said, everybody I know think the same way. See, they don't want to see us vote, and we never do, so we see the same thing. But all our votes really do count, and they'll never really let it show. So now I'm finna break it down, cause if I don't, you'll probably never know. First thing first, you know back in middle school when they told us it was 3 branches of the government, we forgot it when we got older. It's the judicial, the legislative, and executive. But all we know is the executive. That's the mayor or the governor and the president. Now none of them 3 people make no laws, they just be checking them. The laws come to their desk and all they do is say no or yes to it. So when the news station tried to tell us that Barack Obama couldn't put us on, we was all salty at Obama when it was the Congress members all along. We gotta focus on the legislative branch, yeah, they the ones that make the laws. Yeah, they the ones write how much food stamp money you get on the card. But when people that wanted to help us wanted a job, I know they probably lost. Cause we ain't even know their name, we ain't know their face, we ain't know it all. So the Congress or the State House, that's legislative, they make laws. So what we want from the president is what they do. Okay, y'all? See, they election every 2 years, but we don't ever even go to those. The Congress, they can raise minimum wage, but we ain't even really know it though. So you know how back in 08, when we all voted for Obama, we was all supposed to go back in 2010 and vote for the Congress. Cause they the ones make child support laws. They the ones choose if your kids at school get to eat steak or corn dogs. The State House make the court calls. So if the country failed, then you can't say it's them, it's your fault. Cause y'all ain't know to vote for Congress members that was for y'all. And they don't gotta leave after 4 years and we just let them sit. See, they don't wanna tell you this, they want you to focus on the president. Now the 3rd branch is the judicial, that's judges. They the reason why John Crawford or Trayvon ain't had justice. So when Meek Mill got locked up just for popping willies, we blame the judge and not the city when they let her get voted in. Cause they ain't know who to vote against. Imagine life on the other side. Roads better, schools better, everybody get their license back. Grocery store food better, custody of your kids back. Homeless people get new shelters. If we gon' fix the U.S., we gotta start with them 2 letters. Me and you, somebody told us that the government wanna keep us broke, but the only reason why those people in the government is cause we ain't vote. And I ain't talking about the president, I'm talking about the ones we ain't know. See, they was gonna try to keep it low, but it's gonna hurt them when they see the polls. Yellow! What's going on, man? We live at the 2021 Southern Justice Summit. Make sure that y'all vote. Make sure that y'all focus on justice reform. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all for having me. Thank you.
All right, I hope you all enjoyed that as much as I did. Well, we're going to keep going with a few of our awards here, and then we'll hear from our keynote speaker, attorney Ben Crump. So our next awardee we will introduce will be Shelby County Criminal Court Clerk Heidi Kuhn.
The 2021 Southern Justice Summit The 2021 Southern Justice Summit Difference Maker of the Year Award goes to Shelby County Criminal Court Clerk Heidi Kuhn. Clerk Kuhn has dedicated her time and commitment in office to give those who have served their time and are returning to life beyond bars a second chance. By assisting them in obtaining a clean record, she allows individuals the chance to find gainful employment and contribute to society. Clerk Kuhn's work has involved the advocacy of ending fees that were often a burden and block for those who rightfully could seek expungement. Beyond advocacy, she also led efforts to hold multiple expungement clinics to help ease the process of giving hundreds of individuals information and assistance. By providing on-the-ground expertise and personalized advice, many members of our community now have the chance at a fresh start. Difference Maker of the Year, Clerk Heidi Kuhn.
And at this time, I will turn it over to Clerk Heidi Kuhn for some brief remarks.
Thank you so much, Dominique, and greetings, everyone, and thank you, Mayor Harris, for this honor. I am extremely honored to be receiving the Difference Maker Award, and I am earnestly grateful for the recognition I have received for the work of the Criminal Court Clerk's Office in regard to expungements. But it doesn't just start with me. My team is really what makes it happen. I may have the vision, but they definitely execute it. And I am a big proponent of giving people a second chance and believe that just because you have a past doesn't mean you can't have a future. Since taking office, I have been focused and passionate about finding ways to increase and reduce barriers to receiving an expungement. And to date, the Criminal Court Clerk's Office has provided 15 expungement clinics in the Memphis and Shelby County area. And we have assisted in over 3,800 expungements. You heard that right, over 3,800 expungements. And I also lobbied for and secured funding to assist in paying the fines and fees for those eligible for expungements. And most recently, I waived the $100 clerk fee that will help in assisting individuals so there's no longer a barrier to receiving an expungement. So receiving this award would not have been possible without the dedication and commitment to the cause by my team, for whom I have the deepest respect and appreciation. The Criminal Court Clerk's Office wants to assist people who are eligible for expungements so that they can have a brighter future. They can go back to school, they can get loans, they can become productive citizens so that we can try to reduce the crime rate here in Memphis and Shelby County. And the great news is those that have received expungements, there's such a low recidivism rate. So this is working. This justice reform is working. And I am so pleased and honored to take part in this journey. So I appreciate the award. I do not do this for the accolades, but it is certainly wonderful to be recognized for the work that we do here in the Criminal Court Clerk's Office. So again, I thank you so much.
Thank you, Clerk Kuhn. It's always an honor to work alongside leaders like yourself. And so we'll continue with our award ceremony. And so our next awardee is Attorney Michael Scholl.
The 2021 Southern Justice Summit Advocate of the Year Award goes to Attorney Michael Scholl for his help in advocating to overturn the conviction of Alice Johnson. Alice Johnson was sentenced to life imprisonment for a nonviolent crime in 1996. The ACLU and other activists who supported her release argued that the punishment was excessive and an example of disproportionate impacts of African Americans. After serving 21 years, Alice Johnson was released thanks to the advocacy of attorney Michael Scholl and others, including Kim Kardashian. They petitioned the president to pardon her and were successful in securing her release. This is just one example of the many acts of advocacy attorney Michael Scholl has been a part of in his 25 years as an attorney. His work on behalf of some of the most vulnerable individuals in Shelby County is worthy of recognition. Advocate of the Year, Attorney Michael Scholl.
So without further ado, we will turn it over to Attorney Michael Scholl.
Thank you, Dominique. Thank you, Jerry, and thank you, Mayor. everybody wanted me to show what one of these awards looks like. It's a beautiful award. I was given mine this morning before this cast went out. I think Ms. Potkin said something very important that she said, and it's these awards and this award and this accomplishment couldn't be possible without great teams of people. I think you saw in that video there were several young attorneys and many talented attorneys that assisted me and assisted us in trying to get this done. I think one of the big problems that we still have, although there's a lot of progress being made in the area of criminal reform, sentencing reform, justice reform, is that we are still having a long way to go. Our sentencing compounds and our sentencing structure now is still a very draconian system. I think it's something that we need to get corrected as soon as possible. One of our biggest problems is we shouldn't be waiting 25, 30, 50 years to get justice for people in cases such as these. We need to start back with the system and get justice from day one. These need to start back with our basic rules and our basic laws that we have now. I think you'll hear from Mr. Crump here soon, who does a lot of civil work, and you'll see where our system is skewed just in those areas. A civil attorney who's going to sue somebody nowadays can go into court and get complete access to everything they want, even to witnesses, various financial statements, various statements that they have made. And if you're stuck in the criminal justice system, you can't even get a witness statement until after that person testifies in court. So I think we need to go back to the basics. We got a lot of work being done. I'm humbled to be included with this great group of people. And thank you again, Mayor.
Thank you, Attorney Scholl. And so at this time, without further ado, I have the absolute honor of introducing esteemed attorney Benjamin Crump. And so through a steadfast dedication to justice and service, renowned civil rights and personal injury attorney Benjamin Crump has established himself as one of the nation's foremost lawyers and advocates for social justice. He has worked on some of the most high-profile cases in the U.S., representing the families of Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown, Stephen Clark, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, as well as residents of Flint, Michigan, who were affected by the poisoned water of the Flint River. He has been nationally recognized as one of the most influential people of 2021 by Time 100, the 2014 NNPA Newsmaker of the Year, the National Trial Lawyers Top 100 Lawyers, and Ebony Magazine Power 100 Most Influential African Americans. In 2016, he was designated as an honorary fellow by the University of Pennsylvania College of Law. His book, published in October 2019, Open Season, Legalized Genocide of Colored People, reflects on the landmark cases he has battled and how discrimination in the courthouse devastates real families and communities. He is the founder and principal owner of Ben Crump Law. At this time, I turn it over to attorney Benjamin Crump.
Thank you so much, Dominique, and to the mayor and the entire city council for Memphis, Tennessee, Kareem Ali, and all my friends, Judge Dorsey. I am very honored to be here with you today. To all of the fellow honorees, I acknowledge you as being the trailblazers, which our next generation of lawyers, what my personal mentor, Thurgood Marshall, called the social engineers of change and justice, will follow. I thank you all so much for the advocacy that you give to those who have been marginalized and victimized and disenfranchised by a system that would seek to judge them not by their character, but by other insufficient definitions that society often put on marginalized people. My heart is heavy at this moment. I was delayed because the Kyle Rittenhouse verdict was returned, and as many of us predicted, he would not be found guilty. And he wasn't found guilty on any charge. And it speaks to this whole notion that we have to have a system that wouldn't put Miss Alice in prison for all those years. And again, I acknowledge the great work by Attorney Scholl and his team, because we have to never ever forget about people who have been unjustly convicted. But you look at somebody who actually killed people and there's no accountability. And my heart is really heavy because I'm thinking about Ahmaud Arbery and the 3 white men that lynched him. And we're likely to find out their fate. And we pray that the system will give justice to Ahmaud Arbery, even though we saw that it did not give any justice to Jacob Blake Jr. in Kenosha, who was shot 7 times, paralyzed, walking away from the police on video. Did not give justice to Breonna Taylor, our sister, who was mutilated by 8 bullets while she was practically naked in her own apartment when the Louisville Metropolitan Police officers busted open her front door at 1 o'clock in the morning to serve a unnecessary and unjustified and an unconstitutional, and I might add, illegal no-knock warrant. And certainly the list goes on and on of people who justice eluded them. But as we think about the historic victory for George Floyd family in Minneapolis, Minnesota, we know that if we keep fighting and we never give up, just like Attorney Scholl and his team never gave up on getting some measure of justice for Miss Alice, if we keep fighting, Mayor Harris, if we keep coming together saying to America, we're better than this, we can be more just America, we can have an America where George Floyd gets an opportunity to take another breath without a police officer keeping their knee on his neck for 9 minutes and 29 seconds. We can have a more just America where Breonna Taylor gets to sleep in her bed in peace at night without the police busting open her front door. You know, one of the things we have to remember, in the state of Kentucky, 75% of the people who were having no-knock warrants executed on them, an affront to the 4th Amendment, were Black people. They were not busting in our white brothers and sisters' houses at 1 o'clock in the morning unconstitutionally. So it was foreseeable that you were going to have somebody like Breonna Taylor be killed unjustifiably. And we can have a better America, more just America, where Ahmaud Arbery can run free without being lynched for jogging while Black, not in 1945, not in 1950, but in 2020. We have to have a more just America, because our children are looking and they're counting on us to say, America, we all know we can recite the Declaration of Independence, but do we really believe it when we say we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equally, that they're endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that amongst them are life and liberty in the pursuit of happiness? Well, America, that means Black people too. That means brown people too. That means Native people too. That means LGBTQ community as well. It means all of us, America. And all of us have to have a more just America, a better America, where all of our children have an equal opportunity at the American dream. And I say to you, as my personal hero said, Thurgood Marshall, at the bicentennial celebration of the signing of the United States Constitution. He said, "The basis of the American Constitution is simply this, that a Black baby born to a Black mother, the most uneducated Black mother, the most inarticulate Black mother, the most impoverished Black mother, has the same exact rights as a white mother, a white baby born to a white mother, the most educated white mother, the most articulate white mother, the most affluent white mother, just by virtue of that baby drawing its first breath as an American." Now, Justice Marshall said, "I know that's not the case in America today, but I challenge anybody to say that's not what makes America the great beacon of hope and justice for all the world to marvel." So when we fight for the George Floyds of the world and the Breonna Taylors of the world and the Ahmaud Arbery's of the world and the Trayvon Martins of the world and so many others, the Pam Turners of the world, when we fight for whom my grandmother often referred using the biblical reference, the least of these, what we are really doing is helping America live up to its creed. What we are really doing is helping America be the great beacon of hope and justice for all the world to marvel. But what we're really doing, Mayor Harris, what we're really doing, Memphis, Tennessee, what we're really doing, brothers and sisters, is helping America be America for all Americans. We can't have a better America, a more just America. All we have to do is join hands together and fight for it. Thank you so much for this recognition, and thank you all for having me at this prestigious occasion.
Thank you. We are certainly moved by your words today. They are more than timely, and I know they will sit on the hearts of everyone who heard them today and hopefully call us to actions in the future. We are grateful that you took time out of what I'm sure is a very busy day for you to speak to us. Now, as we wind our program down, I am excited that I get the chance to introduce Mr. Van Turner to you all. Mr. Turner is currently the president of the NAACP Memphis branch and a Shelby County commissioner. He is also a practicing attorney who has served as associate general counsel for the Board of Education, a law clerk for federal judge Samuel Hardy Mays, and an adjunct professor at several local colleges. He's an active member in numerous civic and professional organizations and has continuously been outspoken on issues that relate to criminal justice reform in our community. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Van Turner.
Thank you, Jerry. It's so good to be here with y'all this afternoon. I'm most appreciative for the work that he's doing. He's also here on another case involving Mr. Alvin Motley, a young man who was visiting here from Chicago who was gunned down by a security officer, and Mr. Motley was unarmed at the time. So Mr. Crump has, Attorney Crump has brought his talents here to Memphis, and we are working with him on behalf of the NAACP for justice for the Motley family. But I'm just, you know, in a time where there is so much chaos, in a time where we are still reeling from the death of young Dolph, Mr. Thornton, it just warms my heart to see that Mayor Harris and Miss Dominique Winfrey and Miss Jerry Green have put together this great program to really uphold and to appreciate those who are doing the work and putting in the work to make this a better community for us all. And so when I've sat through the program, and I was just at all about the fine work of Attorney Potkin, and we had some involvement in the Purvis Payne matter, and to see that the death penalty has been dropped was just wonderful news, as she stated yesterday. Also, I'm no stranger to the fine fine job. Also, Clerk Kuhn and Senator Akbari are not only colleagues and fellow elected officials, but they're friends. And so I was just so elated to see them get a much deserved award for all the work that they've done in the community for so long. And the young rap star who gave us that song, I'm just listening to the words, and that's something that I need to play over and over for my sons, because that is so important that we have to get out and vote to make sure that we are putting forth legislation to protect the community and not prey upon the community. So hats off to that young rapper for the fine work that he really has done with that song, encouraging our young people to get out to vote. And he talked about the 3 levels of government. And if you look, Mayor and Jerry and Dominique, y'all have given awards to the 3 branches of government with the awards that y'all giving out today. Of course, the 2 attorneys represent the judicial system, Attorney Scholl and Potkin. We have the legislative branch at play with Senator Akbari, and we have an executive in place with Clerk Heidi Kuhn. And so we have not only given these fine awards to these fine individuals who have done such great work, but these awards also represent that it's going to take work at all 3 levels of government, legislative, judicial, and executive, to get the job done. So on behalf of the Shelby County Board of Commissioners and on behalf of the Memphis branch of the NAACP, we join in the praise and we join in the commendations given to Attorneys Scholl and Potkin, Senator Akbari, and Clerk Kuhn. We thank them for their fine work and the fine job that they've done. And again, it's always good to be on the program with Attorney Benjamin Crump, who cited such moving and passionate quotes from our leader and our trailblazer, Justice Thurgood Marshall. And we know that he's carrying forth the legacy of Thurgood Marshall every day with the work that he's doing across the nation. And as always, we thank our fine Mayor Lee Harris, and his fine team for putting together such a great program. So on behalf of the Shelby County Board of Commissioners, on behalf of the Memphis branch of the NAACP, we thank you and we appreciate the awardees, and we thank you for the opportunity to share this brief moment with you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We appreciate your remarks, and we appreciate everybody joining us today. We do want to take a minute and thank everybody who was able to tune in, and also everybody who accepted an award and took some time out of their day to speak to us. So thank you to Vanessa Potkins, to Heidi Kuhn, to Senator Akbari, and to Attorney Michael Scholl.
In addition to that, we want to give a special thank you to our keynote speaker, Attorney Benjamin Crump, and also to YelloPain for his moving performance on today. If you all did not get a chance to see the awards that our awardees were given, here is one. They are more than deserving for their work. And as Commissioner Van Turner pointed out, these are the 3 levels of government. And so it's important that we recognize this type of leadership, this type of example in our community, and and also be mindful as we're going forward about who we're putting in these positions so that we can make an impact on our criminal justice system. So as Jerry stated earlier, I want to thank you all for tuning in and watching with us today. I hope you all have enjoyed this award ceremony and also have found something very beneficial from it. And so thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes, and one last thank you to our partners, to the Urban League, to the NAACP Memphis branch, and to the Democratic Women of Shelby County. And we forgot, thank you to our boss, Mayor Lee Harris, who started us off and who has been a leader in helping us recognize and implement criminal justice reform in our community. We hope to continue to partner with all of you as we continue to transform our community to be more equitable and more just. So have a great day, and we'll see you next year.
Bye.